Hey guys, welcome back. This video is a continuation of my last video for those of you that might still be having issues connecting your Xbox to the Xbox app. So I'm going to be walking you through a quick tutorial on how to set a static IP address. And quick disclaimer, if you are not the head of household or you do not pay for the internet yourself, please make sure you ask for permission. If you're not tech savvy or don't know how to do anything networking wise, feel free to ask for assistance from somebody that does know what they're doing, or you may feel free to contact your ISP and see if they can help you. Now, there are two places you're going to need to change this IP address. One place is on the Xbox, and the other is going to be on the back end of your router. The back end of the router is the one that takes priority because that's where your internet's coming from. So in order to do that, you need to log in. You'll need to open a web browser. And you'll type in the address 192.168.0.1. Whether or not you have to put /admin might be dependent on the router. But for me, I had to put /admin. When you do that, you're going to be prompted to a login screen. Now, if you own your own router, there should be a label on your router with the username and password. If it's not on there, check your manual. If you are renting a router from your ISP, a good chance it could be admin and password. Like username is admin or administrator, password is password. If it doesn't work, you may want to contact your ISP and see if you can get the information or have them log in for you to set the static IP. But typically that's generally what it is. If you have the default information, I highly suggest changing it to something that's not the default so nobody screws with your stuff. But do that. So once you're here, log in and we'll go to the next page. Now, once you have successfully logged in, you're going to be welcomed with a control panel screen. This might look a lot different for you than it does mine, but don't worry. You can just kind of skim around to where you find your connected devices in this area. Once you do, make sure that you click on that so we can go to the next section. Now, when you do find your devices, everything that's connected to your network at the current time will be listed under online devices, which I have my devices here, but I've just covered them up for now. And then anything that's offline or not currently connected to your network will be under the offline devices. Now, just before we get into it, you can see where it says DHCP/reserved IP. Your reserved IP is the static IP address. It tells you which devices are running a dynamic IP address, which this one is, and the other two are running static. But when you do find them, there should be a little edit button or configure or maybe the name of the device is just clickable. You'll want to click on that, and that'll take you to the next section. And when you finally do get to this section, this is where we can really make the changes that we need to in order to get things running properly. Now, as you can see, I did cover up my MAC address. You never really want to ever show your MAC address to anybody. You piss somebody off and you're jacked. Like, you're going to have to go buy a brand new Xbox or a brand new router or whatever. So, keep this personal information safe and secure from people on the internet. Anyways. Now, as you can see, there is a configuration option. It says DHCP or reserved IP. DHCP is your dynamic IP address, which your router is going to assign to any device that connects to it. Reserved is your static IP address, and that's the one we need to select. So make sure that you do have it selected. And then reserved IP address. Now, right there, that is my static IP address for my Xbox. Remember, it's not your actual IP address. It is just an internal IP address that's going through your router. And as you can see, it's going to be a 192.168.0. That is exactly what you need to type in there. What you need to change is the .6. Now, I only have 3 devices on my network, maybe my PlayStation, but it's unplugged. So we'll say 3 devices that are connected to my network at all times, right? It's okay for me to put .6 because I don't have a large range of devices that have to connect, and I don't have any conflicting issues. If you have a lot of devices, like 5 or 6 or 7, I suggest changing the .6 to .12 or .20 to be safe. Just set it to a high number so no other devices can try to conflict and fight for that IP. If you have 2 devices or 1 device, then it doesn't really matter. You can set it to .6 if you'd like. But once you do change that IP address, you need to make sure that you hit the save button. Some routers, you may have, I wouldn't say you have to restart your router. Sometimes when you apply, you can manually refresh your router and the updates will take effect. And sometimes you might have to restart your router. But once you have made those changes in this panel, you can make sure, again, apply it and log out. So now we need to make sure that we go in and verify that we do have the Xbox with the same IP address that we've just set in the back end of our router. Alright, so at this point, everything should be done on the back end of the router. You need to turn on your Xbox, and you need to go all the way back to your network settings. So to do that, go down to Settings, All Settings, go to Network Settings, and go to Advanced Settings. And when you get to the Advanced Settings, your layout is roughly going to look exactly similar to mine, except, you'll see your MAC address and your IPv6 address. Now, my DNS is probably going to be different than yours. I'm using Google's DNS, but you don't have to use Google's. Your ISP provides one, so when you get prompted for it, choose automatic or set it to manual. It doesn't really matter. But as it does show your IPv4 address and your gateway and your subnet mask. So if you have to write down your subnet mask and your default gateway, make sure you write that down, because it is going to ask you for your subnet mask and your default gateway when you go to set up the IP address. Don't worry about writing down the IP address at the current moment, because the IP address we just set in the back end of your router, it may not be .6. It may be .22. So make sure you have that number written down as well. Now, once you hit IP settings, you're going to be brought to change settings. This is where you put in the new IP address you just assigned on the back end of your router. So if it says 192.168.0.22 on the back end of your router, make sure you put .22 in here. So once you've done that, then you'll go to the very next setting. And that's going to be your subnet mask. So make sure you put in the 255.255.255.0. And once you've done that, you can go to the next page. And here is our gateway. So remember, 192.168.0.1 is your gateway. And you're going to put that in. At this point, after you've submitted the gateway, it may prompt you for a DNS, or it just may just take you towards checking your connection settings. If it's successful, it'll say you're all good and take you back to the very beginning of your network settings, where it should show your NAT being open, strict or moderate, or whatever it was previously. However, if it does not go through or doesn't connect, you need to go back and make sure that you didn't make a mistake somewhere, that you didn't mistype something, revalidate everything you just did. Go back from the beginning and, recheck everything. And if you still have problems, you can drop a comment and I'll try to help you, but I have to be able to see what you did. So you're going to have to provide pictures of, well, obviously don't show me your information. Just tell me exactly what you put for these settings, what error message you got, and I'll do the best I can to help you. Now, once we've done all of that, now we need to go back to the Xbox app and see if we can reconnect the Xbox to the app itself. So make sure the app is open. You're going to hit the Xbox One, connect to your Xbox One, and we're going to hit Add a Device. Now, if at this point, since everything should be connected automatically from the back end of your router to your Xbox, it should automatically detect it. If it doesn't, this is where you need to put in the new static IP address you just assigned. Okay, so I'm going to put mine in because obviously mine works. Okay, if yours says .22, put .22. Once you type it in, hit connect. Now, I don't know what I'm going to get here because mine's already connected. Okay, mine's already connected, so you may not be prompted with this message. If you are prompted with this message, there might be one other thing you can try. Now, I can't tell you if it's going to work, because I've had this problem before where I've had no problem connecting, then all of a sudden it can't connect to it. and I had to try to retype in the IP address, and it still didn't work. What I did try that worked for me was going into my time and date and physically changing it to something that's completely wrong, and then changing it back, and then relaunching the Xbox app, and it found it. So you can try that as an alternative if it still doesn't find it and you're sure, 100% sure, that everything is correct on the back end of your router, that your Xbox is able to connect to the internet with the new static IP address, and everything is connecting and talking properly. So you can try that if it still does not work. Aside from that, I'm not really sure what else I could tell you solution-wise. We can try to work together on it, kind of collaborate and see if we can get you up and running. Other than that, that's about it, honestly. It's very simple to do. You'll be ready to go. You'll be able to stream to your Xbox whenever you'd like. And yeah. So if you have any other questions or you have any other complications or technicalities, again, drop me a comment. I will be happy to assist you the best way that I possibly can. Keep in mind, I don't know everything. There are some things I literally have to research for you guys sometimes when you guys have problems that I don't have the answers to. But so just be patient with me. I'll do the best I can. But thank you once again for watching. Good luck with your Xbox, your streaming. I'll see you guys next time.